Okay, folks, welcome to the Home Trails podcast, and it is a special time of year, my favourite time of year. It's a time that I refer to as Spinemas, but basically it's winter spine season. So we're on the countdown now to January 2026, where we'll be seeing everybody toeing the lines of various races. We've got 7 races now, so Sprint South, Sprint North, Challenger South, Challenger North, full winter spine, MRT South, MRT North. So that's 7 races to be dot watching, which is kind of mind blowing. So what we're going to be doing between now and January the 10th weekend, we are going to be interviewing people that are doing some of the races, people connected with the media team, some people connected with the race organisation, and we're going to just basically get you all the interviews and try and build the hype over the next month, maybe 2 months. As we go into January, we'll probably have some interviews to do after the race as well. So if you came here for spine content, you've got it. If you didn't come here for spine content, then unfortunately this is what it's going to be. There will be the few odds podcast interviews with people not related to the spine race, but I will endeavour to sort of tell you at the start of the episode that this isn't a spine race connected podcast. They'll be few and far between, hopefully. No offence to the people that I'll be interviewing, but it is officially Spinemas. So looking forward to seeing what comes out of this year. It's going to be a great race, as always. So dive into the conversations now. Okay, so quick advert before we dive into the interview with Jack. So my good friends at Beacon Race Events, local to me. So I'm just doing a quick ad for them because they're local. I want to support a local race. So on the 6th of June, they are putting on for the first time 75-mile ultra following the National Forest Way. So it's the National Forest Way Ultra on the 6th of June of this year. Obviously, you start at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire, cut through Derbyshire, and you end up at Beacon Hill Country Park in Leicestershire. So 3 shires you go in through. So the race it's been announced recently. I think it was December. So it's going to be the first running of this race. So if you're in the Midlands, this is an ideal chance to get yourself on first outing of this race. So Beacon Race Events. Just have a look for them on Instagram. I'll do a post and you can have a look. But a nice local ultra, 75 miles, 120k. Decent. Nothing too hilly in there, I don't think, from thinking about the terrain. So for a longer one with a less hilly terrain, there will be some short, steep stuff in there, but if you want a runnable ultra that will be across fields and all the usual shire kind of stuff. So I'll be doing it hopefully. So I'll see you there. So advert over, on with the podcast. Otherwise, we miss this golden chat if I don't record it. Yeah, so you were saying you're going to take it easy on Challengers South. Is that what you were just saying?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the conditions promote and the feeling. But I'm excited to return to a good, positive environment for me, which I want, I need, and I'm super excited to be involved again.
Yeah. Do you mean what do you mean by that? By positive? Have you still got negative feelings about? This is just me presuming going back to like Cocodona and stuff, or is this just it's a new distance for you to do at the spine?
The new distance thing definitely intrigues me. And I suppose people might think on paper like the spine race is like a safe bet for me, but if you know the Pennine Way, if you know the level of competition, and if you know what it's like to run a long way, whether it's 108 or 268, that's not the case. But the environment as a whole is like a safe space for me, and I can't lose. If, like we were joking before, I might have a 36-hour race. It is possible, but on that trail at this time of year, with so many coaching clients involved and just an emotional attachment, I can't lose. So if I have a great race and my legs are there, brilliant. But if they're not, and I trudge to the finish in a slower time than people might be expecting, it's still growth and it's still moving in the right direction for me, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that layer of long wants and suffering is not relevant for the long race. You can't go in. What I've just said is not relevant for one of the longer races. Yeah, the 108 miles is probably just about right for now.
36 hours. Have you been looking at my race strategy?
I have not. Didn't have a strategy. You know by now.
I think I
Strategy.
was. I think I was when I did the fall. I think I was like 33 hours up to Hawes because I purposely like walked most of that first night as part of my strategy. But looking back now, I was like, I don't know why I did that. I should have just like moved a bit quicker. But then that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You live and you learn, don't you? Race to race.
Yeah, you never know what's around the corner. Back yourself. You know, it was the year you raced and the year you finished. It was what was written at the top of the page was finish the race, do it whichever way means necessary.
Mm.
You went back and raced. I've got clients who are going back this year, and some of them have got spots later on in the year, November, and it's like, okay, well, what's relevant? You know, why are we going back? What are we going to do differently? And some of them are going to go and take risks because they've done it before, they know they can do it, and it's sort of how fast can you do it now then? And I suppose you look at the start lists and the reoccurring names, and
Mm.
you get people who've done it 7 times and they'll do it the eighth time and the ninth time. That's part of the puzzle. Going
Yeah.
back again and again and again. It's
Mm.
what people want.
What how do you feel about the race now? Because obviously, you've got the course record, you won it in outstanding great awesome performance. But do you feel like there's still unfinished business with the full race for you? Or are you happy to just dip in now and do the shorter routes? How do you feel about it?
I had this chat with someone on Sunday morning in the peaks. I've been in the peaks for a few days, just working on headspace a little bit, to be honest. And fitness is there, just working on some headspace. Been up there with the dog, enjoying the conditions and being appreciative and in the moment. And I sat down with an old client of mine, and we've just become friends. And he's like, "Oh, you're done with the spine, aren't you? You know, you're done with this, you're done with that." And I'm like, "Well, if I went back and ran 84 hours and won the race, people think I've had a bad race because I've ran 72:55." And like, but then if you speak to someone who's done it or not done it, but has been involved and they would probably disagree with that. I think you would say the same.
Mm.
And that's just the feeling I get from the long course. The route is beautiful, is brilliant, is brutal, and it will be relevant for me one day again. But that day's just not now, I
Not
suppose.
this year, yeah. So how are you feeling going into Challenge Yourself then? So have you done anything? What have you done comparable to this then? The 100 mile
I've
distance.
done my first ever race was 100 miles across the Brecon Beacons on
Mm.
December the 15th, which that was, well, my first ever 100 mile, yeah. So that was many moons ago now. That went well. I think I ran 27 hours, didn't have a clue what I was doing. I've also done the Lakes, Meres and Waters, which is 105 miles, very similar vert in just over 24 hours. That was a good winter challenge. So distance wise and winter wise, I've never done something this specific. Um, yeah, I'm just looking at it as a long run, dip my toe into the emotional side of things, and I feel like my fitness is in a really good place. So I'm hoping that'll carry me along quickly.
Mm. Yeah. So I saw one of your posts and maybe I read too much into it, but you were sort of listing the times that you've got to Hawes in previously.
Yeah.
And it was almost like leading towards you saying, this is the time that I did it in that year. This is the time I did it in that year. This is the time I'm going to do it in this year. Are you consciously like going for the course record, which is a question that people are asking?
Again, I mean, I was on the Pennine Way on Sunday morning, and I came off the hill, and I text John Kelly saying, we're going to see finishing times of 70 hours, 70 something, 77, 76, 71. I don't know, and that's changed slightly with weather conditions now. It's in good condition. The year I think Jim Man raced was 2019. I've got the splits on my laptop. Yeah, I've done the calculations to run a fast time, and again on paper it would seem doable. But I remember when I got to Hawes in 24:09 or 24:19, the year I went on to win the whole race. Apart from taking half an hour at Malham, which was crucial, Malham Tarn checkpoint, I was operating as fast as I could. We all were operating as fast as we could. Can I look at taking 70 minutes off that, or 40 minutes if you take out the half an hour at Malham? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can do that, if I'm honest. Especially if I'm maybe on my own, or it'd be lovely for someone to be ahead at Malham and have someone to look at.
Mm.
We'll see how the race develops. No one's
It's
going to get to Hebden faster than Jim did, but people might get to Loversdale faster than Jim did. Looking at the splits, Jim got to Hebden at about 9:09:48 pace average for the first 48 miles. And then for the last 100k of the race, he actually averaged 15-minute miles, which is slow for Jim. So people need to be wary of getting to Hebden on his time, because that's a really difficult calculation to do.
mm,
But by Loversdale, I think people could be under his time if conditions allow.
mm, yeah. So when you got that to Hawes in 24, whatever it was before, so
Yeah.
did you feel like that was like all out, or is it kind of like there's a because obviously your pace is
At
quite.
that point, Sam, at that point, I don't think any of us were thinking about, oh, we're running this 100 so quick, or
Mm,
108 so quick that we've got. The race was just developing in such a way. It was, you're literally rolling with the punches, and you aren't thinking about Middleton. You aren't thinking about Crossfell. You are literally, you either stay at this pace, or you drop out or drop off. I don't think any of us, I mean, it's been well documented that I was verbalizing with Conrad, Kim, and Damien that this is not great. It
mm,
looked great on paper, but it was hard. It was really difficult. Um, and calculations on the Pennine Way are always difficult to do
mm,
on paper. When you go out there and you get a feel for it and you look at the conditions, maybe you can put that into practice. But I just remember how fast that was and how difficult that was. And to be honest, by the time I got to Hawes, it was like, well, I could easily finish the race here, as in that there's nothing left.
mm,
And then the emotion and the excitement took over to climb up to Tan Hill, and the rest is history. But that was a flat out pace, to be honest. There wasn't any, I'll save 12% for later on in the race. It was just all in.
mm. Which is your style, isn't it? Go all in.
I think that style has evolved since I've done the spine. There's been a few occasions in races where I've I've just approached it differently, and let the race evolve, find that emotion, find that fitness, and the World Championships was a perfect development of that, expression of that. I peaked after Cocodona and some of the qualification races, and then went a little bit too far and went down a different avenue. Got to the race, looked at the race as a treat, but I was way off it. I was probably not as healthy as I'd like to have been, and the race caught up with me. But it was nice to evolve into the race and be like, that's okay. Like, not, you've got to be able to suffer and endure as a bare minimum in this sport, whatever level you're at. And that was really nice at the World Championships to do that and to accept that and to finish with a smile on my face, having had a right day of it in a bad way, not a good way.
Mm. How does what are your feelings? Because I've not. I mean, you may have done interviews about it, but I haven't heard you speak about it. But on looking back at Cocodona now, how did that sort of fit into to your plans, and how did that, how are you feeling with that DNF? Because I was absolutely gunning for you, like for you to do well at that race, and I think a lot of people were, and it was like, yes, Jack's going to get some like international recognition, even more than you'd had obviously from the spine, which is still a bit of a niche race for people, isn't it? But Cocodona seemed to have so many eyes on it every year.
Yeah.
How were you feeling about that race?
Um, it definitely has a relevance. It was a massive missed opportunity, and the problem is I pride myself on a composed, professional, adaptive behavioural pattern in long distance running, going beyond 24 hours, 36 hours. And it's just a missed opportunity because the race developed literally half an hour after I dropped out. I dropped out for a legitimate reason. I was hurting and I was pushing through an injury. But what I'm trying to say is if that emotion and that knowledge of Courtney's dropped out, X, Y, and Z's dropped out, the weather's changing, the sunrise is coming. You know, if I was half an hour further down, 3, 4, 5 miles further down, that race emotion in the past for me has developed, it has made me run through fatigue that no one can even comprehend or sleep. And I was really close to that and I missed it. And I that hurts, to be honest, that I wasn't in the right place at the right time to maximize my potential. So yeah, it's I haven't got an itch to sort of go back and rectify a wrong because it was a missed opportunity, but every dog has his day, and it wasn't my day, unfortunately.
Mm. Is that how you sort of quantify it then, as a missed opportunity, even though it was a legitimate injury then?
Yeah, because I have ran and performed at such a level that, like I've said, with I mean, let's say the year I ran 72.55, you know, so little sleep, running through injuries. Yes, I presume so because I just the issues I was. I'm proud that I left the checkpoint 100k in when my hamstring was, you know, I'm 100k into the race. I've got 190 miles to go. I'm a world away, and then I had a really good 5 or 6 hours, and progressed, and then the injury was getting worse, and maybe the endorphins were dying out. But if I'd have been able to endure more and get that little bit further, and then all of a sudden information and data and race emotions are there. In the past, magical things have happened, and the magical thing would have been me staying in the race. But then that can all develop into something different. 150 miles in, I missed that opportunity, and unfortunately, a decent 98 miles isn't enough in a race of that length and that competitive field. It's the same as if I was leading the race and I picked up that injury. There's just different emotions and different characteristics that you can dip into, and realistically, you can go as hard and as long as you need to. I've proved that in the past. I couldn't do it in Arizona, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's an amazing like mindset that is, to think that you can almost overcome an injury and keep going. But if you've done that before in races, then
Yeah.
obviously it's something that you
Well,
know you can
if you've
do.
done things that can't be explained, then
Mm.
and I know how to process that, but other people might not just looking at it
Mm.
like that. But I'm not saying I could do it again, but I know how to do it, and there's another. I could have done it that way, but unfortunately, the doors weren't there to be pushed, and the injury took control, which was a shame. And then, you know, on the flight home, after a difficult 3 or 4 days, I'm starting to feel a little bit better, and I'm trying to think of how I can make the summer a success and unsustainable thought pattern, really. But I did manage to do that. It was difficult, but it was, to be honest, when I came back from Cocodona, it's probably the first time I've gone a bit old school and been like, I'm just going to go again. Like, I'm just going to race. Like, I rehabbed my injury for 10 days, got a lot of physio, took the time I needed, and then it was like, what's the worst that can happen here? Go do some qualification races, do what you love, follow your nose, gamble in inverted commas, and I did, and it paid off. Um, you can't always get away with that, and it probably showed itself at the actual World Championships.
Right, we're back. So we've just been talking about Cocodona, and we're gonna put that to bed now, and we're gonna go back to the spine. So, how are you feeling about conditions coming
Well,
up?
I mean, I'll check Thursday. Really, that's there's nothing else you can do at the minute. There's a lot of if it was the weekend just gone, wow, it's fast race, fast ground, clear, easy to layer. You know, yeah, it's -6, there's a -10 wind chill, but there's nothing out to get you. It's pretty
Mm.
straightforward and predictable, which is nice. And the year, obviously, I ran a fast time, and those other fast times, it was similar to that. And it does have its pros and cons, but at the minute, the weather, um, check it Thursday morning, make some decisions off that, and we'll see what snow is on the ground.
Mm.
And the interesting thing about the South race is, personally, and if my opinion of the Pennine Way is worth anything, I think the most difficult section of the route is leaving Hebden Hay, heading towards Malham. Yes, you've got the runnable section at Gargrave, but those fields up and around Loversdale and the canal section, if it's sloppy and muddy and defrosting, it is awful. It is hard. It is difficult underfoot, and it also coincides with the athlete doing their first night and being
Mhm.
50, 60 miles in, and all of a sudden, I've dropped out in Cowling before. Um, it's just it's a difficult section of the race. But once you're over the cusp of the hill, you're back in the North York, you're back on the Yorkshire Three Peaks, Fountains Fell, Pen all of a sudden the race is developed, you're settled in, and you know where you're at. But that
Mm.
section between Hebden Hay, Loversdale / Gargrave is tough, and yeah, I'd like to be in a position to sort of attack it this year, but we shall see. We shall see what the conditions allow.
Yeah, because I know I've been checking the weather, and I know this, like, you shouldn't do this, should you? Like, sort of at the start of the week, be checking the weather and stuff. But it's sort of predicting that it'd be nice and cold and crisp, over Kinder and going up to Hebden and everything. But then it looks like as the day turns to night, it's going to warm up a little bit, isn't it? And there's a possibility of it even the chance of rain. It's going into
Yeah,
Sunday.
I mean, even the race in the south can be a race of, I mean, two halves or
Mm.
2/3, 3/3, whatever it is. That's legitimate. You've got to just take the hour as it comes. What's underneath your feet? What's above your head? I've sent some voice notes to clients today saying, you know, doing all the distances and it's relevant for every single distance is you're guaranteed to make mistakes. And the person who wins this race or does the best is not the person who makes the least mistakes. It's the person who doesn't let those mistakes fester or doesn't let those mistakes evolve into something unnecessary. There's millions of scenarios you've got to endure. You've got to nod your head to it. If you make the same mistake over and over, obviously you've got a problem. But it's how the athlete deals with the negative. You're doing something so difficult anyway. You make a mistake with food or with kit. You can get through the race if you don't let that evolve into something more than it needs to be.
Mm.
And that's endurance.
Do you look at it as two? Because I don't know about you, but I am looking at it in two distinct sections of, obviously, get to Hebden,
Yeah.
decide what kit I'm going to change into. Do you look at it as one? Because obviously you're not going to hang around at Hebden, are you? Whereas I will stop and I will sort out kit and stuff like that going into the next night, going into the first night. Do you separate them, or is it continuous to you?
Well, I mean, I know we spoke about gym man splits before, and,
Yeah.
and I think naturally in my head I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Hebden. Where am I at on Jim's time? You're not going to get to Hebden in Jim's time. I really, really don't think that's going to happen. But from Hebden, it's like, okay, where am I at? How can I eat away into that? So I suppose naturally I am because of Jim's time. To be honest, I'm naturally again. We could have a foot of snow, and the race finishing time could be 36 hours.
Mm.
Is it possible? Yes. That's more likely than someone running 21 hours. So naturally, I suppose I am looking at, Hebden 47, 48 miles in, shut the door on the more runnable, faster section of the race when you're fresher. This is where it counts. You've got 100 kilometres to see if you can chase the ghost of Jim Man, I suppose.
How much of that sort of will that actually weigh on you during the race, or are you so focused that I know you've looked at the splits
Hmm.
of Jim, but
I think
will you be focused on that?
conditions wise, we'll know within 2 hours if it's plausible because
Mm.
it's so fast that there really isn't much wiggle room. There is in the latter stages of the course, but you've got to be close enough for that to be relevant. You could be
Mm.
way off it. If there's a couple of elements that are against you, you haven't got a chance. And then it's like, okay, well, what's plan B? Well, plan A isn't to run the record time. Plan A is to have a successful, positive, happy experience. Okay. If that produces a decent miles per hour, a decent feeling, then you can look at evolving plan A into something more spectacular. But that it's not plan A, but the calculation in my head is it would be a beautiful opportunity to be considered for to be if I can go under 24, I'll bite your hand off. Jim's time is 22:53, fast.
Mm. Well, it is doable for you, isn't it?
It's got the conditions have got to be spot on.
Yeah, if everything aligns, if conditions are right, you know that you've done around 24 for
Yeah.
that section anyway. Yeah, if everything falls into place,
Hmm.
then you definitely,
I
yeah.
mean, not everything falls into place, but you'll have to force some things. Like,
Mm.
is the person going to be running on their own? Oof, difficult, is the person going to be racing someone, and there's a different psychology there. No, but one of my most fondest memories at the Spine, and I spoke to James about this recently, and we've been in contact about some products before the race, is when we left Hawes on the fast year, and I was with James Nobles, and I was heading up Shunnafell to Tan Hill, and I was in no man's land. Damien was ahead, Kim was ahead of him, Conrad was there, and me and James just settled in. We'd done 110, and we had an amazing 7, 8, 9 hours up to Middleton, and it was one of the fondest. It was just a period of the race, and then the next period of the race was okay. I'm in race mode. I'm in good condition. How can I be the one to win the race? And it ebbs and flows like that, and you have to let that in.
Mm.
That was one of my fondest memories, and if I could sit in at the front with a couple of ladies or a couple of lads, that'd be pleasant as well. Because every time I've ran on the Pennine Way, I've been those early stages have been with people, and I'm sort of hoping it's like that again.
Mm. Yeah. Just thinking about other people in the race then, who have you specifically looked at the race roster and eyeing people up, or do you not? Would you prefer to not know who's going to be there?
No, I'm not too sure who's there. I spoke to Mark Derbyshire maybe in October. I know he'd had a bit of a difficult race in the Far East,
Mm.
and I said, get fit. Let's get on the Pennine Way and let's run some fast times. Hopefully he'll be there and be in good condition, and we can have some some good experience. I've raced with Mark, but I've not raced Mark before. We raced the UTS 50K the year I won it, but he'd ran 40 miles a day before, and UTS 100 mile was cancelled, so he did the 50K. So our paths have never crossed. And the really interesting thing with Mark is he is a better 100-mile runner than me, but he's not a better Pennine Way runner than me.
Mm.
So that would be a beautiful mix to be like, okay, well, let's throw these 2 or 3 or 4 people into a blender and see who comes out. And that would really intrigue me. And I know, is it Dan Wheeler?
Dan Weller, yeah,
Dan
Dan.
Weller, sorry. I know he's had successful runs on the Pennine Way, and he's on an upward trajectory as well. So it'd be great to share some miles with him too.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I can confirm that Mark will be there Saturday. I messaged him this afternoon. So when I messaged you about the possibility of you coming on, he was one of my other victims. And because it was up in the air as to whether he was actually going to be racing because he'd had an injury.
Hmm.
But he did confirm he's going to be there Saturday, and he's had a relatively. He says he's not had an ideal block, but he's running pain free, so that's as good as it gets. So
Agreed. No, I'm excited to see him and share some miles, and I'm sure we'll lean on each other, ask each other questions, and carry each other around, I suppose.
it's true, isn't it? So you've got both kind of sides of things there, haven't you? So Mark is like he is 100-mile specialist, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
His,
then,
his
but
time, his
he's
time earlier on this year on the South Downs, was it?
yeah,
Was again,
record
I look
breaking.
at stats, I look at things on paper or on Strava. I don't think Mark's on Strava, but there's certain things you look at, and you just nod your head to it and respect it. And Mark's done that. He's done that in the mountains as well, not just on the South Downs, North Downs, whatever it might be. Uh, yeah, if he gets his kit right, and if the
Not wearing shorts.
well, I mean, you are allowed to wear shorts now. Apparently, going through the kit list, you are allowed to wear shorts, and there's a couple of different things I'll be trialing kit wise at this race that I won't be talking about now, but you might see in the race. There's some Yeah, there's quite a bit different for me this year, including feeding, kit, and some other bits and bobs, just to see if it makes a
If
difference.
it works.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be interesting seeing you in shorts then.
that's not plausible. You want to be you want to be undressing on Kinder, and I've done that before. You're like, you're right, okay, we've settled into the race. The sun's
Yeah,
coming
too
up.
warm, too
Right,
warm.
yeah.
Mm.
You don't want to be dressing on. If you're dressing on Kinder, you've made mistakes that are not good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's, I just remember seeing the pictures of his shins, Mark shins, and yeah. Anyway,
Could be again. That could be relevant again. We could need a snow plow, because we're going to be going first again, and that's going to be interesting.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Is there more snow forecast before the weekend or not?
Again,
I don't think there is a lot. Is there? If there is,
no, I've got a client who lives in Edale, which is a very good sort of feet on the ground, and I'll be getting
mm,
some weather updates as of Thursday. Obviously, we'll
mm,
be there Friday. I'll stay in my own bed Friday night, which will be nice. Follow the usual tradition. So my mate Q will take me up. He's going to do a run with his dogs. He'll take me up Saturday morning. Mum's involved in making food and helping. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. So there's a lot of traditions from the big race that I'm following, but
mm,
there's certain tweaks and apparatus and things that you might not see, which have been really different. Which I can
mm.
talk about after, but maybe not now.
Maybe not before. Yeah, yeah. Because I suppose your approach to the full race, to the big race, the kind of stuff that you can take on board there is different to stuff that you'll try and take on board during a quicker 100 miler, isn't it? So, yeah, obviously, if you don't want to talk
Which is
about,
new for me. But
yeah,
that realistically, that's new for me as a single stage. It's new for me at the level I'm at now. It's not new for me
mm,
than maybe the level I was at 4 years ago. But I'm intrigued and I'm looking for different growth, different stimuluses, and but hopefully we find that
mm.
for sure.
Um, so can you talk about kit then? So I know that you've been helping with the development of a new jacket, was it? The Innovate jacket?
Yeah, that's come to fruition, which is awesome. Just in time, to be fair. Hopefully, I won't need it, but the likelihood is I will need it because it will be cold and wet, and I can rely on that bit of kit as well. We've got some decent mitts, we've got some decent socks, decent footwear, new footwear for me. Again, how well my race went in 2024. I'd love to just slide into a pair of G270s. That's not an option anymore. So I've got the Trail Talon Zero, which is borderline direct replacement. It's got a deeper lug on it, more aggressive, and real hybrid of a shoe. I've worn it for 4 mile fell races, and I wore it for Cocodona, and I wear it here.
Yeah.
Zero drop. Keep them feet
Mm.
warm.
Is that something that you've ventured into before zero drop? You know, like with ouches and stuff like that. Is that new
No,
territory?
I remember when I started working with Innovate, they sent me a range of products. They sent me the G270, which was naturally zero drop. Didn't even really acknowledge that.
Mm,
Just grew into it, and wear it now is just a commonplace for me.
yeah, yeah. So any final sort of decisions that you'll be making this week then, depending on the weather, about what kit you're gonna? Because obviously the kit list is reduced slightly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But how are you? How? What are your thoughts on how the kit list has changed? I know it's not a lot has changed, but there's a few tweaks, isn't there? If you've seen that.
Well, realistically, looking at it, and I checked it today to sort out the medical kit. It's not even it's recommending a spare pair of gloves, but it's not saying you need a spare pair of gloves. So it's really interesting for those first year spiners.
Mm,
If they take the kit list as gospel, they could end up in difficulty because
mm,
there's no price for experience. You can't put a price on that. So if they do the minimalistic approach and they don't use their drop bag at Hebden relevant
mm,
properly, they could be in trouble. And I
mm,
suppose the only thing that changes for me now is layering system, and do I take the more heavy duty gear if it's necessary? And it's finding that balance and that risk, which find out Wednesday night, Thursday morning when the weather's confirmed, I suppose.
Yeah. It's true, like you say, isn't it? There's the experience is absolutely priceless, isn't it, with the spine. So just talking about the whole recommended like the one pair of waterproof fingered gloves as like the minimum.
Yeah,
Some people will look at that and go, "Oh, all I need is like one pair of waterproof gloves,
yeah.
and I'll be golden." But you'll know that from experience, and I know that from experience. I remember getting to
They could be
uh,
done in 90 minutes and you are in a world of pain.
yeah, I remember being where was it? I was coming into Hawes, and I was sleep deprived and underfueled, and no matter what I did with what combination of gloves I got, I could not get my hands to be warm in any way at all.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I got to Hawes, and then
Was that through, was that rain and wind damp, or was it deep cold and frost, or a bit of both?
it was just cold. It was just cold, and I think I'd got because I don't know if you've done this before, but when you know that you're not that far away from a checkpoint, sometimes you can kind of think, oh, everything goes out the window. You kind of like you don't think about fueling and taking on fluids and stuff, and you just focused on thinking I'm really close to the checkpoint now. But in reality, you're not, and you should be fueling all the way up to the
Well,
checkpoint.
really, really close on the spine race can be 2 hours, 5 miles. Not being
That is
yeah.
true. Look, what it was like, it was dropping down. It was dropping, when you're off the Cam High Road and you're starting to drop down and go down the hill towards Hawes, and you can see the lights of Hawes basically. And I was like, right, I'm there. But actually, in reality, you're not there, are you? And it was,
90
I don't know
minutes.
how much longer it was to get down there at my pace. But I'd slowed down a lot, and my hands. I was getting different sets of gloves out, but none of them cut the mustard. And it wasn't until I got to Hawes and I saw my mate Tom on the media team, and he said, "I've got some fur-lined mitts. If you want them, they're yours." And I was like, "Yes, I will take them." And I took the fur-lined mitts. And I wore them for the rest of that race because obviously it was super cold after that as well, and it was like snow and ice and everything. And that was one of the biggest takeaways for me is thinking that you've got enough kit. Sometimes you haven't got enough kit, or you haven't got the right kit in the right moment.
Yeah.
So when you like packing your drop bag, for like, this isn't advice for you. Obviously, this is advice for people listening to this podcast. If you're doing the race for the first time, take
Everything,
fill that
everything
drop
and
bag.
anything that you can even imagine goes in that drop bag.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, because there's that many different scenarios. I did a training weekend recently up on the Cheviots, and there was 7 or 8 runners. I sorted out logistics. We started in Burness. We ran linear to the pub at the end, the border. We stayed over. Amazing race, amazing run. 26, 27 miles. And we were working on layering systems. Everyone was up there on the flagstones. We got to hut one, and the weather was changing a little bit. And people, including me, every time you go on the Pennine Way in those conditions, it was dangerous. It was raw. It was brutal. It was barbaric. Some of the conditions, and everyone was on their own, and they had to settle in, and they had to get through it. And it opened a lot of people's eyes. It refreshed what I already knew. And kit there, expensive kit. We're talking £300 pair of gloves. We're talking the best socks. We're talking the best waterproofs. They were right on the brink of what was actually achievable and doable. And that's the way it can be. And in the latter stage of the race, especially if you face those conditions, that is brutal and dangerous. And take it seriously because uh, you don't want anyone getting hurt. Simple as
Mm. I remember coming out of Langdon Beck, and at that point in the race for me, you were obviously a lot further up, but it was when it was so it was probably about 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and it was the coldest I've ever been in. So they reckon it was definitely -10, but they reckon that it could have been like -15 with the wind chill and everything. And I remember
that.
having basically everything that I'd got, I had on every single layer I had on. And I even had those warming things that you can have for
Nice.
your gloves. I had them in my mitts, and I trudged off into that ice. And I remember thinking, there's a reason why you're supposed to have all this kit, and that absolutely was it.
Well, I mean, you've got your feet and your hands. It sounds so obvious, but unless you've struggled and suffered, and on this training run, the Cheviot training run, there was a point where I was like, well, I'm gonna have to just let go of my feet here because they're gone and I need to focus on other parts of my body. And again, in the race, depending on how far you're in or your sleep deprivation and your calorie deficit can be even worse. But your gadgets and gizmos, if you don't know where you're going and you can't see where you're going, and
Mm.
you haven't slept for 4 days, you are in trouble. So head torch, watch battery, route knowledge. Then you've got your socks and your gloves. Anything else in between, you can get away with bits and bobs here, but hands, feet, and being able to see, know where you're going, crucial. Yeah, for sure. So if
Yeah,
you're going to
absolutely.
invest in a £500 down jacket, or you're going to invest in 3 pairs of amazing gloves that could save your day and keep you positive and in the race, I'd recommend just looking after the basics: gloves, socks, head torch, and
Mm,
sun toe watch.
yeah. A little advert for Sunto there. Other watches are available.
We've got new watch settings as well for this. So data screens and different things. So it's been well documented that in the race, the big race, I'm just after what I'm after every hour. So every hour my watch ticks by, it tells me I've done 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, whatever it may be.
Mm.
Here's a slightly different approach. So the miles, every mile matters here more. So I want to, I can run it to feel really, but I'd like to know where I'm at every 8, 9, 10 minutes. So I'll be looking at my watch or have the notifications on my watch, the data
Are
on the
you,
bottom every
are you
mile.
are you doing that then? I know you'd said that before about, running the hour that you're in and everything, or
Yeah.
running the mile that you're in and everything, but are you consciously going to be checking every single mile to make sure that you are on the pace that you want to be on?
Not necessarily want to be, again, whoever wins this race or whoever runs a decent time or whoever beats Jim's time, they're going to be on the edge of what the conditions are going to allow. So it's not you're not realistically going to have another gear. Your other gear is maintaining and staying at that gear. It's not I'm going to run the Cam High Road at 7 minute miles to get under the record pace. That's unrealistic. So when the watch ticks by in this race, looking at looking at the start, looking at the field, and thinking about Jim's time, it's more of a confidence boost, and it's like right, okay, so I know Jim did the first 50 miles in 9:50 a mile. If I'm ticking over at 9:50, and then I might do an 8:10, and I might do an 11:20. It's that average, it's that feel good factor, and it's that acknowledgement. Okay, I'm in the realm, I'm in the ballpark, I'm in control, I'm not doing anything stupid. Um, and as they build up, especially in the latter stages of the race, I remember on Hadrian's Wall, the fast year, I was 12 minute mile, 12 minute mile, 11:10, 10 minute, 12 minute mile, and I'm thinking, I was looking at the watch, I was like, this is confidence that I know Damien isn't doing this. I wasn't even thinking about Jasmine's time. It was like these are my minutes. These are my minutes to keep pulling and pulling and pulling. And in the latter stages of this race, I'd love to be in the dream scenario where it's if Jim's average was 12:30, if I can run a 10 minute, a 12:30, and a 14 minute, all of a sudden the average is where it needs to be. You don't need to push, you don't need to take any risks, you just maintain. So that's where the stats come into play here.
Yeah.
The likelihood is, again, whether it's me or a more accomplished runner than me, the race will be won, and then someone will look at where am I at on Jim's time. That's what I suspect will happen. But again, we've got weather systems and loads of elements to tick off first.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, how I know you're obviously very big on sports psychology and sort of preparing your minds going into this race. How was this race differed from the big race as far as your mental preparations gone?
Yeah, so I am big into the sports science, the sports psychology and the mindset and the purpose. However, since the big race in 2024, there's a time and a place to tap into that. And for Cocodona, I tried to tap into it. I did tap into it. Was it as strong as it should have been? I'm not too sure. We spoke earlier on. If I was in the race for 4 miles more, that could have been a strength, and it could have elevated my race into a different realm. So it's like it's like running it's like running at 1 mile all out pace. There's only a certain amount of times you can do it, certain amount of times you want to risk it, certain amount of times you want to open that box. And what I've learned as I've grown as a man and as an athlete, but more as a man, it's like it's there, it's a strength, but sometimes it just needs to be left alone, and you just need to lean on some other elements in your day, and not be so intense, because that intense can elevate you, but can also weigh heavy on you. I've done a little bit over Christmas, but to be honest, since Cocodona, I've followed my nose. I've changed things quite a lot, and I haven't necessarily gone into that box as much as I might have done in the past.
Mm,
I think that's just me growing as an athlete. However, in the race, I plan to open that box and use what I know is in there. But on
mm.
the start line, I've not I've not dipped into it. Whereas 2024, uh, it was rife. It was in my throat, and it was ready straight away.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Actually, when so when I messaged you today, I messaged you with the intention of thinking you're not going to agree to an interview because
Mm.
I've asked you so many times before races, and you're like so focused on a race, aren't you? You're in that zone that you don't want any other distractions. But I thought to myself, well, just on the off chance, I'll just message him and just see if he fancies it. I'm fully expecting him to say no,
You
like
can't
he
read my
always
reply
does.
out, can you? Or can you?
I can't. I mean, you can say it if you want.
So just again, developing as an athlete, there's more than one ways to do it. I need to let the fitness show, and I need to let the happiness show, and the fulfillment show. I'm in a really beautiful position in life and in training. Blah 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 blah. Just roll with the punches and don't be so regimented. To do what I did in 2024, I was regimented, I was stern, I was strong, and I was ready weeks before. But and then it went into the race, and it blah blah blah. I'm different now. That version of me is still here and will show itself on Saturday evening into Sunday morning. But uh, yeah, that you can burn energy going looking for that, and I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm. So the mental strength is still there when you need
Yeah,
it, but you're not can't say that you're not taking it as seriously. You're not
I'm
as
just displaying it in a different way.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
a different face, a different color, a different character, let's say.
yeah. So is that do you think that's just like you say, like maturing as a man rather than maturing as a racer or
Um, yeah, I'd say maturing as a man, and growing into just evolution of time, and emotions, and passing through the sport, and just listening, learning. Um, that version of Jack 2024, I've got plans for this year, not next year. This year coming, where I've got to go into a realm that I've not been in before, even above my Spine 2024 race. And I know, it gives me goosebumps now. I know what that is, and I know what it's going to look like, and I'm ready for that. But you cannot go into every race like that, because
Mm,
it's just exhausting, and
mm,
there's more than one way to do it. You go, what Mike Hartley said in his book, and we spoke about on email many times, is fitness and feeling it's your perception. It's your perception and your belief. Strava might tell you this, Garmin,
mm,
Sunto, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's something within you that you get to put into practice, and you find out. And sometimes it needs to be forced, and sometimes it needs to be left alone. And yeah, I mean, I might have to force it after 3 miles running up Jacob's Ladder with chasing Mark Derbyshire. I'd rather force it at 73 miles running over Malham, but there's more than one way to do it. But the core and the heart and the head are better than 2024.
mm. Yeah, so it's like an evolution of Jack Scott.
I think so. Yeah, and Cocodona was a massive part of that. The GB selection again
Mm,
was a big part of that, and all these emotions and all these experiences, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. it's what I'm in the sport for. Uh, it's not simple. It's not easy. It's just enjoyable and it's keeping me happy and intrigued.
Well, enjoy it. There's no point in doing it if you don't enjoy it.
Even in relation to going to the shorter race, going to the shorter race. Why are you doing why are you doing the shorter race when you've ran the bigger race? Because I want to do it. I want to be involved. I want to be in that positive environment. I love training. This like coming off the World Championships, I had 1 week off, and then it was like I love training. October, November, December. So just follow your nose and trust your instinct. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be
Um,
good. Um, so what do you say you've got something big planned for next year that you can't talk about? Is that what you were sort of hinting at
this year now.
this year? Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
it is this year now. Yeah,
Yeah. There's the wheels are in motion on something beautiful, brutal, exciting, different. Um, yeah, that's the date's been set. Maybe talk about that after this race or rolling into the
yeah,
spring and summer. This race is relevant for it, and there's a reason that this race is getting done. Whether it's the pace, whether it's the place, whether it's the competition, this is
mm,
relevant, and it's not a box ticking exercise, but it would. I'd love a successful run here, finish a decent project, and then start another one from
yeah,
February.
yeah. Well, I won't quiz you any more about that, and yeah, we'll we'll leave it there. Yeah, I won't quiz you any further on that. So what are you looking forward to most about this race then on Saturday?
Oh, being high above Manchester and Sheffield, Manchester on the left, Sheffield on the right,
Mm,
being on a trail that feels like home to me and has given me the best days and the worst days. Hopefully, get something in between on Saturday, and just being in it in an environment I like to think I know, and then will chew me up and spit me out. Um, and then yeah, the, the aftermath as well, the aftermath of whether it's a failure or success. It's nice. Take January as it comes. Get home to the dog. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm ready for a long run. This will be the longest I've ran for a while, because Cocodona ended at 98 miles. Hopefully, this one will end at 107 miles, give or take. And obviously, I've dipped my toe into the shorter stuff at the World Championships and some other races. So I haven't been out for I hadn't been out for over 20 odd hours for a good amount of time. So see if I can still do it.
I'm sure you will be able to, mate.
Let's see.
Amazing. Well, I won't take up any more of your time, and it's much appreciated you coming on, mate. And I appreciate that yeah, the evolution of Jack Scott is up for pre-race podcasts. I'm happy about that. That's
I
hopefully
was
that
surprised, Sam.
continues.
I just finished my kit. You messaged me, and I was like, I've not spoke to anyone for a while like this. So I was like, yeah, come on, let's have a chat, and let's roll with the punches and
Yeah,
take that into this week, take that into the race. I think it's a good place to be.
yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
it's
great.
yes, sometimes it's no.
Yeah, great mindset, and I'm
What are
looking
you
for.
most looking forward to for the race? In your position, what are you up for? What are you thinking?
Um,
Loversdale bacon sandwich or
is that? I don't think that's there anymore. Is it? Are they not?
no? No,
Is
I
that the one
mean,
that's not there now? There's
it's
one.
the pub, isn't it?
Yeah, there's one. One of them's not. That's the one that's outside the pub in the tent, isn't it?
Yeah, is that gone?
I think that's the one that's gone. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that's the one that's gone now. Which was like that was a haven, wasn't it? Yeah, bacon sandwich. I think I had a bacon sandwich in the sit down for a little bit, and I was like, I don't want to be sat down here because it's just too nice. It's too
Yeah.
nice to sit here.
I don't put myself in any of the group chats or on the social media, so I don't see uh, that information. So that is new information to me.
Yeah, double check that. Yeah, because I might be wrong about that. Yeah, I think for me, just when I did the when I did the full race that year, I was so stressed before it because I'm naturally a bit of a stress head anyway. I love the moment of just going up Jacob's ladder and just feeling like that, like complete relief that I was there and I was in the race and it had started and
All you've
all
got to do
that.
for 5 days is look after yourself.
Yeah, and all that stress, all the stress, pre-race stress was gone, and you're in the moment. Um, and that's what I'm looking forward to again because I've got another. Although it's not stressful this year, I've got quite a busy week anyway with stuff going on. Um, so I'm looking forward to that again, like being in the race and just going, yeah, there's nothing else to worry about other than moving forward, trying to keep warm and dry, and look forward to. Yeah, it'd be nice to get to Hawes and then be able to get home and then dot watch the rest of the race and see everybody else suffering while I'm at home with my feet up.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Look forward to that.
My plan, if I make it to Hawes, is to I've booked a couple of nights, and I'm going to try and watch every client finish their race, and then also
Nice.
watch people start in the north. There's quite an emotional attachment to the race, obviously for me, but even more
Mm.
so for some of my clients who have, for example, I won't name his name, but last year one of my clients had a heart attack a month before the race, and was
Wow.
obviously, I mean, he survived, thank God. Massive difficulties, massive issues. Came out the other side of it, and now he's doing the south.
Oh,
He's doing the
nice.
same race as
Wow.
us, and
Amazing.
just like working with this gentleman and advising him and helping him and figuring out this puzzle. What a
Mm.
beautiful, amazing opportunity, and the Pennine Way has presented that to him,
Mm.
and there's no better place to do it. And seeing people finish like that for me is special. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see people figure out their story as well.
Amazing. How many coaching clients have you got in the various races then?
Yeah, I need to write this down and figure it out. I'd probably say 16, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, over various all the races. Yeah, yeah. And like I said,
Wow.
some of them have come late on,
Mm.
and I've had many phone calls in November saying, "Oh my God, look the email I've just had. I've got a place. What do you think I should do?" And I'm like, "Oh, if you've got the heart and head for it, but why not? You know, so, sometimes you've got to say yes to these things and take the risk and not overthink them." And I've
What
got
what
some.
can what can you do for people? Uh, is that people that you've already been coaching anyway, and that they've got places, or is it people who've come to you? I've got a place. Can you help me before the race?
Um, More so the first. So it's a
Yeah.
relationship I've had for a while. They apply for
Mm.
the race, they get a place, and then it's X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z.
Okay.
Um, I think that yeah, if someone messaged me in July saying, "Oh my God, I've got a place. I've not really thought about it. I've got 6 months. What can I do?" I'd get to know the person, and if the relationship was there and I like their mannerisms, maybe that's something we could do. But that's not really
Mm.
my style, to be honest.
Mm.
I like the long term approach, listening, learning, and I've got people now who I've worked with for a year who have got the spine race in 3 years on their agenda,
Mm.
and
Mm.
that is the best
That's
place, the
ideal.
best, yeah, because it takes a monumental amount of work, and we're not talking wall sit squats and rowing machines. We're talking passion, energy, purpose. You'll have felt it yourself, and sometimes to get the most out of that, you've got to fail. That's my story, and that's not a problem if you give yourself time and you know where you want to be. Use that time wisely. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But one
Yeah.
top tip I'd just add to people, because just sharing what I sent on some voice notes today, is the
Mm.
conditions we had last year. Obviously, I was up at the race, nattering some nonsense as part of the media team, blah 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 blah. But I saw the snowy conditions, and I realised that the race was just going to evolve into a different realm, especially with the people on the Saturday. And I messaged all my clients and I said, "You've got to be patient here, because if you've got a goal in mind, or if you've got it's gone out the window.
Mm.
Kinder was unbelievably white. Everything was white. It was really difficult." And I sent a voice note to one of my clients, Mike, in the middle of the race, and I just gave him a bit of perspective, and I said, "Mike, you've got all the time in the world. Yes, you're in a difficult period. You're 100k in. You're that far ahead of the cut-offs. You might feel like you're in no man's land. You're right where you should be. Use that
Mm.
time. This is not a simple calculation of I'm going to run 35 hours. The year that the way it presented itself to him, 50 hours was a good time, and he realised that in the race, and all of a sudden he was like, oh, this race has just changed straight away in my head, and you're looking forward and not back. Patience is crucial, whether you're at the front, the middle, or the back. Calm down, relax, remember why you entered, be patient, and bloody enjoy it. I wish I could swear, but I can't.
repeat that. We can throw the odd swear word in. Yeah, bloody enjoy it. That's the motto for the spine race this year. Awesome. Cheers, Jack. I appreciate you coming on, mate, and giving us some of your precious time. And I'll be all being well. I'll see you on that start line on Saturday morning.
Top man, use your experience, get into it, and enjoy it.
Cheers, mate.
I'll
Yeah,
see you at Lords.
yes, yeah, yeah. If you're hanging around, yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Yeah.
Top
Cheers,
man.
mate. Thanks for listening, everyone. Appreciate it. See you soon. Bye, 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 bye.